Hi, Doug. It's good to see you.
Good seeing you, Paul. It's been a while.
Not too long, but it seems like a long time. It's just a month
I
ago.
know. I know.
Yeah. So, Doug, I want to talk to you about faith and this COVID-19 virus. You have had a really close brush with it, and I
Mhm.
want your perspective on faith and the virus. And if you listen to the experts, we're all going to get this sooner or later. We're all going to know somebody who even dies from it. It could be somebody close. It could be somebody in our ecclesia. It's
Mhm.
very concerning, or it can be very concerning to us. You were in a situation where you had to go to the hospital because of symptoms of the virus. So could you tell us about that? Let's start off by talking about your experience here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think for all of us in this particular situation, leading up to it, life was pretty normal. Our daughter got married. Ingrid and I just went, and right after that went away for a vacation, and then came back, and then I started having a cough, and I it was normal in a sense, thinking I'm getting a cold, and then it gets worse into my lungs, and I go to the emergency, and at that time they couldn't test because they didn't have enough kits, and they said you are probable, but we can't give you a complete confirmation on it because we can't test you, and the only way we could test you is by admitting you, and we are not admitting you because you're not in that high risk. But go home. Here's a puffer. Go home and stay there. And that's where it was kind of eye-opening, thinking, okay, here I am in a situation where I've never felt like this, Paul. My lungs were filling up. I felt like I was drowning inside, and couldn't get ahead of it. And that was a really scary thing. And then there's where the pause comes in, right? Now you've got a 2-week pause in terms of I'm now isolated, and where's my thinking going?
Were you worried about getting medical care if you got really sick? I mean,
Yes, absolutely. That was the big concern, is that could they handle what's coming, the onslaught that is, and even then that was just starting to be, it was just starting to come up, be big. But even then they were kind of overloaded because everybody was worried about it, right? So that's the concern. And so you say, okay, now I'm home. What am I doing with this, and my time? And that's where it was kind of good from a faith standpoint, is that it really caused me not only to think about myself, but the world at this point, our community, our country, and so on. And it was really fascinating to say, okay, man, all the other stuff doesn't matter now, because I'm now facing some things that are pretty dramatic, not just me, but so many others. And that's where my faith is, I would consider strong, but it really caused me to pause and really say, where is my relationship with my Lord?
it shook you. The experience shook you. Would you say that?
It did, yeah. And I think from the standpoint of, this is real. We're not reading something that, oh, this took place back in 1918, the Spanish flu kind of thing. This is 2020, and here we are facing a worldwide pandemic. And that really caused pause.
Did you think, why me? Why is God giving it to me? Why am I one of the first ones to get it? Did that go through your mind?
Yeah, no, actually, I never thought that, because I said, why not me? To your opening statement, like it's going to be many of us getting it. And so why not me? And so, but for me, it was, it's been a really good faith builder, in the sense that it causes more of a daily routine, which I'm really enjoying. Actually, I get up, I do my readings. Ingrid and I have spiritual discussions. It's a wonderful perspective, actually.
So what do you think about, you're in isolation, you're at home, you just sit there and worry. You could be looking at your investments, you could be worrying about your family, but what does your faith drive your mind to think about? I mean, does it, rather than worry, does your faith drive you to do anything else?
Yeah, and that's a really good question, Paul, because what I'm finding is that we can get very insular, especially being in isolation, right? We can really think about me, woe is me. And what this has really caused, both Ingrid and myself to do is to think about others. We got to get outside of ourselves. And again, it's like, how are our brothers and sisters doing? How are our friends doing? And what can I do to assist? But the beauty of this, in a sense that opened my eyes, was I had to be open to receiving as opposed to giving. And that's been the biggest, not tough, but eye-opening to say, man, I'm in need here. Our fridge is empty, our pantry's empty, and we can't go outside. And so here's brothers and sisters coming out and saying, what do you need? What can I get you? So a little emotional, but that is a good. And so I had to be open. First of all, I had to ask, and then secondly, be open to receiving, and then so grateful for them. And for, it's not monumental stuff. It's just being there for us. And
you can really see the power of the community, of our community and your circle of support, whether it's your family, your friends, your ecclesia. It's a powerful influence right now, isn't it?
It is. And you can ask the question, well, do you see God in this? And say, absolutely, I see God, because I see it in my friends and my brothers and sisters that are helping. That's the visual of it, which is such a real positive blessing. And then I see down the road, Lord willing, that I can then give back, once I'm healed, because I've still got, I'm still not symptom free yet. And so I got to stay in the house until I'm 24 hours symptom free. But up until that time, it's really important and that we do depend on one another. So our world is so based on independence, and now we are needing to be interdependent upon one another. And wow, that's changing our dynamic in our community. And here's our opportunity to show how God works in our lives, and what He's blessed us with.
That's a wonderful conclusion or result of getting that. And I'm so glad to see that you're recovering well. I hope it's speedy. If you want to leave one thought to people that may be helpful, who may get the virus, or when they get the virus, what would it be?
That this is a time, take stock of yourself and where you are with, because the things that were important prior to this are not necessarily as important anymore. And then it makes you think about what is important. And a lot of this was back to my relationship with God, but then helping me to realize that I am so thankful for the relationships that God has put into my life with those that are our loved ones. And they're taking care of us. And don't lose heart. Everybody's helping. People will be there for you.
Exactly. And hopefully we can be there for them.
Yes. God willing.
Wonderful. Great thoughts. Even though a very traumatic experience, it sounds like a good experience spiritually. So Doug, thanks so much for sharing that.
And thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.